Alright, today we're going to be replacing the starter on this 2003 Polaris Sportsman 500 HO. I do have the manual on this rig, but I'm going to deviate from the instructions a little bit. I'll go ahead and post a picture of those instructions anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. I want to show you how you might be able to diagnose that you do actually have a bad starter. Alright, so right now when I turn the key, all I'm getting is a click. Okay, which could actually be a couple of different things. You could have a weak battery, you could have a bad starter solenoid, that type of thing. So what I did initially, well, they took something relatively solid and gave the starter a quick little couple taps. In fact, you might be able to see the marks on it. And then you try to turn it over. If it turns over, then it's a pretty good chance you have a bad starter, okay? So that only worked for, geez, I don't know, maybe 15 times, you know? So I've been able to start the rig that way about 15 times, and now the starter basically doesn't work at all. Sometimes if I hit it while turning it over, it'll actually go, but, okay, so you can see it's pretty weak. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to unhook the battery. I like to do that anytime I do anything with electrical connections, and I'm also going to put the battery on a charger. I'm thinking it might be kind of weak where I haven't been driving it. So let me go ahead and do that. I don't think it's necessary for me to show you how to do that, and then we'll get started here. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do here is remove my seat. It's got a lever in the back. I'm sure you're familiar with it if you have this rig. Okay, then we're going to remove this side panel. I'm always a little bit cautious because I don't want to break any tabs, especially since it's a 2003. So, alright, like that. See, there's already a broken tab there. That was from a previous experience, I'm sure. Front has similar tabs. So you want to try not to break those, okay? Alright, next I'm going to remove this vent assembly for the clutch cover, and I'm going to start by loosening this hose clamp here. And it's just on a rubber boot that ties the two together. Then we have a 3/8 inch bolt right there. And obviously you want to try not to lose any pieces through the process, and also we want to try not to drop a bunch of debris down in the clutch cover. So this is one reason why I like to spray the wheeler down before I work on it. It also makes the job easier. You don't get as dirty and dusty and stuff everywhere. Okay, so this should actually just kind of pull right out now. Alright, so we just have better access to the starter here. Alright, which is right here. Now, this is where we're going to deviate from the instructions a little bit. If you checked them out a little bit ago, I had a screenshot up of the instructions, and it says remove the clutch. And that's a job. That turns this job into a whole different deal. So, because you do need special tools, also all of this would need to come off. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can squeak this out by the clutch cover. I've done it before on a Magnum 425. It was a little tight, but we got it. Alright, so let's go ahead and start and see if we can get this out of here. Alright, so I'm going to start with the easy bolt here. I'm going to use a 10mm box end wrench. And I'm going to try to get it on there as straight as possible. And I've got a little vent tube in the way. I'm just going to pull that out of the way. And obviously you don't want to strip anything out here, so I'm going to start by just giving it a little pressure, and it went. If you needed to tap on it a little bit, just make sure that your wrench is on straight is obviously really important, so that's why I'm putting my thumb on there. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and back this out. If you had a ratcheting box end wrench, this would be a lot easier. Okay, and that bolt is going to come out fine. You can pull on this plastic a little bit, which is what I'm hoping it's going to have enough give in terms of actually getting this out of there. Okay, so there is another bolt. Let's take a quick look, see if I can get you a shot of it. Alright, so there's a top-down shot for you of that bolt, and the interesting thing is I see another bolt just laying there. That's not the bolt I just removed, folks, so that's that one right there. So I don't know if somebody's done this starter before and dropped a bolt and decided to just grab a different one or what, but we're going to go ahead and see if we can get that out of there. Probably won't get that on camera for you. I'm going to use the same box end wrench, 10mm. So let me see if I can back that out, as well as get that spare bolt out of there. Alright, so I did get the spare bolt out. I used a handy dandy magnet, and what I'm doing here is I'm just basically using the old top down view, and I can actually see enough to get the wrench on that bolt. I'm just going slowly, and I'm just going to go ahead and keep backing that out. Then we have to remove our positive terminal. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this boot here on the positive terminal. Now, full disclosure, I got that bolt freed up, but I don't have it out all the way. So I'm going to see if I can, maybe I can shimmy that starter out with the bolt in place. So let's go ahead and get everything freed up, and then we'll figure out the best way to get this out of here. And hopefully we will not have to pull this clutch cover and ultimately the clutch itself. And we want to be watching for any washers, because you don't want to drop any. Alright, let's pull that out. Now this starter actually right now should be free, although it does have an O-ring, so you may have to wiggle it. Boys, it's a lot looser than it was. So all I did was took a screwdriver and a hammer and just tapped on the other side of this starter motor. You can see it did free up, and now we just need to wiggle it out of there. Alright, so I just wanted to check in with you here, and you can see I've got the whole starter motor spun, and that's what I think it's going to take to get this out if you're not going to remove this whole clutch cover. This bolt basically prevented it from coming out, so I had to get the starter out far enough so I could actually get that to spin out. I might save myself a couple of headaches and put a shorter bolt in on reassembly, and now it squeezed right out by. Now I will say that I bought a starter with the Bendix. It was about $55 I think on eBay. You can get the starters themselves without the Bendix for I think around $35. I'm not going to change the Bendix out today, but I'm assuming by the looks of this gear that I've had water in my my case on the other side, so I'll want to replace that Bendix here at some point. I'll do another video on that, and I'll link to it right here. Alright, let's go ahead and get the other one installed. Alright, so what I've done is I've taken the nut from the positive terminal that we pulled, and I put the bolt through one of the mounting ears here, and I put that nut on there. It's the correct thread. And what I'm going to do is try to cut this off, and then hopefully that nut will chase the threads out. I'll try it out in the motor, make sure it threads up nice and easily. If not, I'll just go buy an actual bolt. So I've got a brand new reciprocating saw blade. I wish I had a little bit of a finer blade, but we'll see if this one actually will do it. Alright, so I'm just going to work the threads back and forth here a little bit and see if we can just make sure we get a nice clean thread here. Alright, so the whole purpose of that was, that's the original length sticking out of the motor. That's our new length, and that'll be enough threads. It threads in fine. I'm just going to make sure that I wiggle it and that it's threading in easily so I don't cross thread it, okay? So now we're going to install the actual starter motor. And if you remember, this is the one that's got to be in place before we start. So you don't want to drop it, you don't want to lose your washers, so I'm just going to take my time and try to get that worked in there. So we're going to start with our bolt up the way it came out, and then I'm going to get it in place and try to spin it, okay? In case you can't actually see it, that's what we're going to do. And again, I just want to be careful that I'm not knocking any debris into that starter port. Okay. See if we can spin that down by there. When I got it out, I actually took that hammer handle and kind of wedged out on this. So let me grab that real quick. Alright, so I'm just going to pry out a little bit on the plastic. It just gives you a little more leverage. And obviously we shortened up that bolt significantly, so that should be good. What I'm going to do to make sure I have the right location is I'll try to thread this one in before I attempt to thread the other. And I just felt that O-ring seat, so that's a good sign. Okay, I'm going to leave that one a little bit loose because I'm going to want to jiggle this motor as I attempt to thread the lower one, because the threads obviously aren't exactly right because we cut it. But we don't want to cross thread it, so if it's not going in easily, you don't want to put the wrench to it. That's sort of my theory on threading things in. Alright, so that lower bolt threaded in just fine. I've got to remove this one. As you recall, that's our negative, or our ground terminal. I'm going to do the positive here. I mean, I suppose you could hook that ground terminal up initially, but I kind of wanted everything out of the way so I could get that lower bolt threaded. Probably can't see anything but my hands, but all I'm doing here is hooking up the positive terminal, and I'll replace the red boot when I'm done with that. Alright, so my ground wire is back, my positive terminal is back. I've got both bolts snugged down so that the lock washers, compress, and then I snug them down even more, but you obviously don't want to over tighten them. I need to replace this vent tube here along with the bolt that was holding that in place. Go ahead and get that back. Okay. That was kind of behind a metal bracket here. It sat behind that, so I don't know if you actually caught that on camera or not. So, and then of course we need to tighten down this clamp, which is right here. So thanks for watching. I'm going to end it right here. I'm going to put this back together, let my my battery finish charging. I'll turn it over for you. Hopefully it's going to work. If you want to see more of this type of stuff, hit that subscribe button. As always, I appreciate questions and comments down below. Give me that thumbs up if you found this helpful. And thanks for watching. Have fun.